Albert A. Wall, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 214 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Hey, going okay.
Damon's all excited because he has a mic now.
I know. It's like I was, not at the top level. It's the same as Trevor and Tom for so long. I felt like it was tough, but now, now I'm at their same level, microphone wise. I feel better.
Now you've got the fancy heavy mic.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So hopefully it's better. I mean, I can.
You sound good. I think. Yeah. So that's good. So, Damon, I know we have you for a limited time tonight.
yeah. There's swimming and there's we had a tough. Yesterday was just a tough long day. I got up around 7:00. I went to prelims to swim. I could not come home because my daughter's lacrosse was far, but at least it was close to swim. So went to prelim swim, went right to lacrosse, went right to the second game of lacrosse, went back to swimming finals, and then I got home at like 9:45. So from 7 in the morning to 9:45, I was out at events. Yeah. I was so tired. Like I took so many pictures and I was so tired when I got home. I was like, I can't. I was like, I just got to go to bed. I can't do it.
Yeah, I was just telling Trevor before we started recording. It was right before I got into the seat to start recording. I had made banana bread and then immediately went to make dinner. I was making pulled pork in the Instant Pot, which I've actually never tried before.
Oh, we do it all the time. Yeah, it's nice.
The Instant Pot is criminally underused in my house. Like I feel like I should be using it so much more often.
So we use it a lot more than I think we used to. So, but again, it's for certain things. So like we do a lot of things that like, so, like chicken tenders, like making your own chicken tenders. Like we do that a lot with that. Okay. But pulled pork, pulled chicken. I want to say like my wife has done a ton of other things too, but like I meatballs. Meatballs.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Meatballs are a big thing. Yeah.
I wouldn't think to do that in Instant Pot. Sorry, Trevor, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we go through phases with it. Like, yeah, you kind of find a couple of things with it, or at least with us, like we'll use it and then we'll forget about it for like 6 months, and then we'll bring it out again when we decide like we want to do pulled pork or something.
Yeah,
I have to say it does a really good job with pulled pork. I was impressed because in the past I've always done crockpot pulled pork, but now like Instant
which is fine. Yeah, I mean it's way less. So I will say that the other thing that we got, which is like total game changer, is the FDA silicone mats for the inside.
Okay.
Dude, game changer, because right now, all of a sudden, like cleanup is okay. You pull that thing out, you're done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely worth it. So I got my wife a couple of those, I think for Christmas. It's way easier, right? Cleanup is super easy then, because you're just taking that piece out and then kind of moving on. I also tried to bake a cake. I don't know if I forgot if I talked about that, but it did not come out that great. So I'm on a mission for another cake maybe for Easter. See how it goes. Because again, from scratch, right? So
of course, from scratch, yeah.
Yeah. But it was just, That's what I would say.
This wasn't that good. I hope my banana bread came out good. I have not tried it yet, but I love a good banana bread.
We've been doing banana bread muffins.
Oh, I've done that too before. Yeah,
yeah,
too.
A little bit easier
to if you want. Yeah.
I mean, well, just when the kids take them and go, it's a little bit easier than cutting a sliced bread. Yeah.
Is there really such a thing as bad banana bread? Because I don't think I've had like it goes from like okay to really good. Like I don't think there's ever bad banana bread.
I feel like
if you put raisins in it.
Oh yeah,
no, right. I'm chocolate chips, man. I'm all chocolate chips in my banana bread always.
Oh yeah, we don't normally do chocolate chips because
what do you do, nuts?
My one son doesn't like chocolate.
So. Oh, your one son doesn't do chocolate. Okay, so do you do nuts?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I like walnuts, so I like it, but I don't always win that battle, especially when I'm not the one making it. I can't really complain too much. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, see, I always go chocolate chip in there. That's to me the perfect flavor. So anyway, We have Damon for a super limited time tonight, so we're going to start off with our random ride, and then do whatever else we could after that, right? So before we have to, and if I'm sure you'll just go through the list and tell us what you want to.
I have to bring up the list. I haven't even gotten it up yet.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, while you're spinning, I can.
All right.
Have a look.
All right. Well, let's do that then. I feel like I want more like a Wheel of Fortune kind of sounds. All right, Trevor, what do we got?
We got the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Okay, is that? I mean, I don't want to say that's not a ride. It is.
It is absolutely.
It is a ride. It's 100% a ride. Is the monorail and the Skyliner on the list of rides too, or do you have that? Okay, that's part of the population.
Yeah, they're included. Because the railroad was actually the first ride built in Disney World.
That's true. Yeah,
and it was a ticketed ride too back in the day. So yeah,
I think you guys know that this is one of my favorite things, and in fact. For those that have been listening to us a long time, the original logo for the show was based on the Walt Disney World Railroad logo, right? So the very first logo that we had, really long time ago. So what you were saying is the first thing that they built?
Yeah. Yep. It was the first ride built in Disney World, so it was built before everything else. Obviously, it's gone through a bunch of changes over time since Disney World opened, and so I did some reading on this, and I didn't know this obviously before we started looking.
Wait, how did you do reading about it?
Wikipedia,
internet.
Well, but how did you know if we just picked the ride?
I mean, he reads everything. He reads everything.
So everybody knows, the fake spinning thing is one thing.
Oh my goodness, it's all ruined now.
We
ruin the magic.
we do spin the wheel though, but before the episode. So I had a little bit of time as we were setting up here to
the reviews. The reviews we're going to get now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Ruin the
shows, scripted podcasts.
Okay, so would you rather us not, read up on the ride, in the couple of minutes before the episode?
You'd rather us not know anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
So the one thing that I didn't realize was that so there's 4 locomotives that they actually were bought from a train yard in Mexico and brought to Disney World. So they went and scoped out these because the Disneyland ones were built from scratch, and they realized that they didn't want to do that again. So they went and they found the same size of locomotive in Mexico and made a deal and had these locomotives shipped back to Florida, and then they restored them into the train cars that we have today, which the 4 that there's 4 of them, and 2 of them one's named after Walt, one's named after his wife Lillian. It's called the Lily Bell. And then there's the Roger E. Brogy, who Roger he built the Disneyland and the Disney World Railroad. So he was like overseeing these projects. So there's one named after him. And then the last one is named after Roy. So I didn't realize the history that went into it.
So Brogy was the head of Maypo, which for those that don't know what Maypo is, it's the Disney's machine shop basically. And Maypo is short for Mary Poppins because they bought it and they paid for it with the proceeds from Mary Poppins. So it's called Maypo. So fun fact for everyone, if you didn't know that. What?
I said, of course.
Of course, yeah. Of course. Of course that's why it's called Maypo. So listen, and it's interesting. I think I've talked about this on the show before. I know I have, because I did the train tour, right? I've loved trains since I was a kid. I'm a big train person. I love trains. And so for me, it was really cool to do the tour where you actually get to go. You get to go to the roundhouse where they maintenance the trains. It's also where they maintenance the monorails. It's kind of cool because it's they maintenance the trains on the bottom on the ground floor, and then they maintenance the monorails on the top floor. So it's like one building that does both, which is kind of cool. But if you ever want to do that tour, I highly recommend it. It's a really cool tour, and you get to see them do this thing where they light it up, right? So where they light up so there is a fire burning in it, but they burn diesel oil, right? So they're not burning like coal or anything like that, but they are burning something. So it actually to start it up to get it going, they like light this ball on fire in their hand. And like it makes this really hot burning flame, and then they throw it into the boiler. But I mean, these are real steam trains. These are real steam trains. Go ahead, Trevor. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I'm just laughing at the idea of somebody lighting something on fire in their hand and then throwing it into the boiler.
Well, so they're wearing a pretty heavy duty fire glove, right? So
still,
yeah. I mean, I have a picture of it. So yeah,
these are, I guess this is something that, a lot of people, I wouldn't say they get on Disney, but, people kind of go, oh, Disney, everything's, a show, or there's an illusion, or that they're simulating something. And I think this is one of the few things at Disney that is, it's legitimate. Like, they took the time to get these locomotives. They have actual engineers maintaining them, running them as, locomotives from like the early 1900s and whatnot, like steam trains. Yeah. So it's kind of cool that it's one of the more authentic things in the parks, which, I mean, there's lots of things that are authentic, but I think it's cool that these have stayed intact through, there's opportunities along the way that they could have changed them out, or they could have, said, we're no longer doing steam trains and gone to something else. Right. But these things are classic.
I would say iconic, right? I mean, it's iconic of the parks, right? It's honestly one of the things I think about all the time when I think about Disney. I think about that train being in Main Street Station when you walk in, It's just there's something about that really kind of puts you in the place. And by the way, a couple of these went through a complete overhaul. A couple of the engines went through complete overhauls while it was closed the past couple of years here. So a couple of them were. I don't know if all of them were, but I mean they've done overhauls on pretty much all of these at some point. But I think the Walter E. Disney one was just redone during the time that it was closed. So.
Probably some overdue just maintenance, because the thing is that I guess they always have like 2 to 3 of them running on any given day, which you would think, that means they can take these other ones and do maintenance, but really you can't, because if they're rotating them out every day or every other day, having one down for an extended period actually kind of messes up their cycle, right? So it's not, and it's not easy to take apart a steam train. So
no. Yeah. I do have to say it was very cool actually going from the maintenance area onto the main tracks when I did it, did the tour, like, because they bring you you get to ride on and start the day basically. So you have to get there really early. But it's very, very cool tour, and really neat to see how they like maintain these trains. And what all the stuff that they do, every day with them. So, yeah.
Now,
so, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I need to check my memory here, because it's been a long time since I've been on the Disney World Railroad. Is there 3 or 4 stops? I
want to say, let me think. Main Street. It stops in. Was it 3? I think it's 3, right?
Is it only 3?
I thought it was 3.
That's
now you're making me question myself.
so here's the problem, right? In Disneyland, there's 4 stops. There's Main Street, New Orleans Square, Fantasyland / Toontown, and then Tomorrowland has a stop. In Disney World, is it Main Street, Frontierland, and then what do you call it? Why am I blanking? Mickey's Toontown Fair or Mickey's Circus?
It's the, I guess,
Storybook Circus. No.
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the actual station is called.
But then there's only 3 though.
Yeah, I think there's only 3. Yeah.
Yeah. There needs to be a 4th station.
I don't think I feel like it's not long enough for a 4 station. I don't know why.
But Disneyland is smaller and it has 4 stops.
I know it's true. It's a fair point. But yeah, no,
this has been the most boring ride wheel ever.
What do you mean? The train is amazing.
I don't know. We were just talking about it as again, before the show, and I don't know how many times I've actually even rode this.
Really?
Maybe like twice. I was being told that like my dad wanted to go because he's a train person, so we rode it. Like, must have been when I went with my parents, which was how many years ago? A long time ago. I don't ride this regularly.
See,
I think maybe only a few times.
I love it just for like I need to get off my feet for a little bit and just take a nice.
We don't spend that much time in Magic Kingdom. I think that's why this ride for me, maybe when the kids were younger, but I don't even really remember it that much then because it's like I want to go on real rides. Like, yeah, I definitely am of the mind that this is a ride, but
yeah,
you never used it as a shortcut around the parks.
Nah, we're not soft like that. We just troop through.
Not soft like that.
I would call it inefficient more than soft.
Yeah.
So fine. I guess if you don't want to optimize your day,
no, there's no way you can't. You can definitely walk faster than that train.
Well,
because you got to get online to the train. Even if you time it perfectly, it's
It takes 20 minutes to get around the entire circuit.
That's what I'm saying.
And there are 3 stations. There's Main Street, there's Frontierland, and Fantasyland. It was called a Fantasialand. But yeah, no, it takes 20 minutes to get around the whole circuit. So
yeah.
You're saying you could walk from Frontierland to Fantasyland in 10 minutes?
Less than 20 minutes? Yeah.
Well, that's great, but then you're
the full circuit,
Then you're wasting a bunch of energy that you don't need to waste.
That's true. We got to save up that energy.
Well, that's true. That's why I have to leave the park at 7:00.
Yeah. So
all that speed walking.
I think there's something to be said for the efficiency of using the railroad to your advantage.
I just find it a waste of time. That's how I'm just gonna put it out there. It's a waste of time. I don't consider it really a ride. Actually, I think that the train. Oh my goodness, I can hear all the people being mad now. But the train at Dollywood,
you can hear them yelling at you.
I hear them yelling at me now in the iTunes reviews when we get our 3s and 2s and 1s. The Dollywood train slaps over this one though.
Oh my god. What? No.
Just saying.
I just
okay.
No. I haven't even
That's
been
fine.
on.
I again, for me, if I'm in the park, like I'm spending my time somewhere else.
No. I mean, listen, it's not like
like I said, I don't know when I'm going back to Magic Kingdom. Just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there for me?
I mean,
pre grandkids. I mean, listen, I'll go on Tron, but the problem is, again, as we kind of talked about, you're forcing me to go to a park that I don't necessarily really need to go to. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll go on Tron.
Go ahead, Trevor. What were you going to say?
I mean, I was going to say, that's fine. If that's Magic Kingdom's not your jam, that's fine. But for those of us that spend a lot more time in Magic Kingdom, the railroad is definitely a valuable tool and also a great ride. It's a great
Trevor's
in
talking
between
about it like
ride.
it's a bullet train between the zones or something.
No, it's not a bullet train.
It's
there are ways to make use of it to just make your day all around better. And then like Tom said, it's nice sometimes just to sit down.
Train better than this train?
I don't care actually about what other park you're talking about because we're talking about the Walt Disney World Railroad.
But
I really am not
Disney
interested.
World Railroad, though, like there's nothing like you're seeing things you already see.
Well,
you kind of know what I'm saying, like
the woods and
yeah, but that's not interesting. Like I feel like if it went and did like a little like loop in an area where there was not like something you couldn't see from in the parks, then that's a win for me. That's how to like upscale this ride.
So what about have you done the train at Animal Kingdom that takes you backstage?
Yes, and that one's cool.
Okay. So you like that one because you see something different.
Yes, like the one at Walt Disney World, it's like, why am I going on this? So I can sit down. I can sit down on a bench. I can sit down and eat. Yeah. Like there's nothing for me to see that I can't see some other place. And I think that's what the Animal Kingdom one does better, and that's what the other parks kind of do better. Is you're letting me see something where it's like, oh, I can't see that unless I do the train.
I mean, I don't do it for that reason, though. I do it because it's like relaxing, because it's a classic, because I like to hear the guy yell "all aboard." You know, like it's just
be in a restaurant eating some food or something instead.
It's an ambiance thing to me. It's like, I don't know.
I'm not a train person in general, so yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
maybe that's really
vibe with that. Because I think the Skyliner is cool, right? Like I could get down, but like I'd rather Skyliner than train because again, it's just a little different view. I don't know, not my vibe.
That's fair. I get it. Trevor, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I had nothing bad there.
Okay.
Now, if there was a super secret tunnel that you went through that had like, mining dwarfs
now there is.
Snoop,
you go into
Snow
Tron, so
well, let me tell you about the Disneyland Railroad, because there is exactly that.
That sounds way better then. There's dwarves mining in one of the tunnels.
There's a tunnel with dinosaurs that you can't see. It's exclusive to the railroad. You can't see it.
That's worth going on. So now you see why the Disney World one has to get a C+, while other ones get A-.
I mean, there are some scenes though that you go by on the train. I mean,
stop, Tom.
I'm just saying there are. They exist.
Just stop, Tom.
You get that view inside of Splash Mountain, right? Like you get. I mean, there's the couple scenes with animals. There's an animatronic here and there.
I have 4 minutes to run through this whole thing now. Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well,
okay,
yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. You're going to speed round us. Okay. All
right, I'm going to speed round even the listener questions. Pros and cons of buying resale versus direct. You always buy direct. How does having DVC points better your Disney experience? I mean, the pros are just the cost of, not having to worry about the cost of the hotel. I mean, I think that just gets better and better every year that it's out there. 50th anniversary celebration wrapping up. What do you think the highlight? I thought the castle, actually, I'm going to tell you, I think was a highlight. Lowlights, I think being too long. I think it was too long. You got to, if it's the 50th, it's the 50th. It's your birthday, it's a golden button. Yeah, it's got to be the same thing as a golden button. With the new character meet and greets, who would you like to see? I mean, obviously gummy bears, that's easy. And they're there. We know they exist, so that's fine. Yeah, Chris, with questionable take on Jungle Cruise moment, why hasn't Jeremy been temp banned from the group? Yeah, that is a tough one. I think that he might have to serve some time. I feel like.
I do. We'll get into
past wait listing experience. I mean, I've gotten all of mine except one. I don't care where I stay anymore, so it doesn't even matter to me. So like wait list is not even a thing for me because I just don't care. If you're sharing your popcorn, how do you eat it? No whole handfuls. All right, the Disney cruises, the people that posted that cruise that was Lighthouse Point,
the
and
two
then
islands,
Castaway, and then Lighthouse Point. Yeah, dude, that is the best cruise that ever existed. I feel like I would love that. Unfortunately, it's at the same time my son's graduating, so I can't do that. But if I was to do another Disney cruise again, that would be exactly the one I would do. So I'm going to keep that in mind.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
It is a great idea, but they're usually few and far in between, and they fill up quick. That's the other problem. Animal Kingdom points. Yeah, I know it's cheap, but the problem is it's got less years on it, so I don't want it. There's our ad, blah, blah, blah. Tom says DVC rental store, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Random ride we did. 10 recent additions that make Memory Maker the best souvenir. I mean, I don't know if all 10 of them were good. I mean, I love Memory Maker, but I want a picture. Like, why do I want all these crazinesses? Some of the pictures are kind of neat. Yeah, I mean, some of the pictures are kind of neat. And I will say the indoor photo studio at Epcot is a W because we love the one that was over in Disney Springs. I think it's like, it's almost like a free sitting at like Sears. Remember the Sears sittings or the JCPenney's? Yeah. It's something like that. Concept art, don't care about that. Optional topic. Don't care about that. And then Trevor wraps it up. Welcome home at gmail.com.
You don't have to do those parts,
Hey, listen, I have to hit everything. So that's it. And look, I did it in 2 minutes.
That's pretty.
I mean, you guys will probably talk for 2 hours, I feel like.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
yeah.
All right.
Funny thing about podcasts.
Yeah. We have to create some content. Bye, David. Have a good night, David. So the first thing I had on here, I wanted to do a little correction about the guaranteed week conversation we had last week, because I kind of forgot. I'm not going to lie, because listen, I'm not a guaranteed week expert. It's not something I really think about all that often, but I did forget the point that you can opt out of the guaranteed week. Meaning, like, if you buy a guaranteed week, you can opt out and then use the points elsewhere. Totally forgot about that. So,
right.
Yeah, just wanted to make that clear to everybody, because we made it sound like you have to go that week every year, which you don't. It is pre-booked for you and it's pre-set up for you. And you do have to actually asked to opt out of it. But I think my feelings on it still stay the same as the. It's not that it's inflexible. It's just not. I don't know.
It's an extra step.
It's
right?
extra
like
step.
That, yeah. Which that's good that it's still flexible. But yeah, I don't know. I feel that would get more annoying having to continually opting out of it every year instead of just going straight from, okay, when am I going? Right.
I have a hard enough time remembering to bank my points. So if I ever have any to bank, so
yeah, that's not going to be an issue for a while.
Yeah. That wasn't my issue for a long time. And then, all of a sudden now we have all these points, and I mean, we're going to have a lot next year to use since we're not going to go this year. So, although my sister-in-law just called us and said that they were going, and now I'm like, man, they're going. No, I want to go. Like, it's like when you hear somebody else is going, it's like, I want to go though.
So I guess on that note, we've or I have booked time for February of next year.
Oh, nice.
So we have a trip planned for February, but that's still a long ways off. We're still 11 months out from that. And kind of like you is that I've been joking with my wife that it's like, hey, I could figure out how to get on a plane down to Florida, and feasibly I could go anytime I want, except fully understanding that it's a lot of money and all that. But I get what you're saying is, when you hear other people planning, it's like, could I swing it? I bet I could.
It's literally,
right?
it's literally what I was saying to my wife. I was like, should we think about doing a trip? Like, like, even though we kind of know we just don't have the time for it this year because we were just so busy this year, it's just not in the cards. But it's funny how that happens. So, but I just wanted to put that out there because we do try to be correct about the things that we say.
Yes.
And I did see somebody mention it, and I was like, I had a feeling we were missing something on that one, but just wanted to get back with that. So Justin wants to know, what are the pros and cons for buying direct versus resale? Also, if you rent DVC points, what perks, if any, do you get? So, I mean, it's easy to answer the second question. None.
You don't. Yeah. there is no perks for renting other than, or actually, sorry, that's the perk of renting is that you're getting the cost to rent points. Yeah. If you figured out paying cash for a room, you could, like, it's the difference between paying for a moderate or a deluxe resort.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
think of it like you're paying moderate prices or in that price range, but you're staying at a deluxe resort.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the perk of renting DVC points. As far as what are the pros and cons of buying direct versus resale, I think the biggest pro for, or let's start with the resale pros, which is the biggest pros for resale is that it is cheaper. The same cost for direct right now, you can find, and especially if you're patient, you can find some pretty good deals resale that you'll never find direct. Like even with them offering discounts like they are on Animal Kingdom and whatnot, you can always save more money by buying resale. But then the con is that you'll never get the perks that come with buying direct, which, whether or not those are valuable, that's entirely up for debate, and that changes over time, right? Like because the perks that they offer for direct, there's certain things that are, we talk about blue card, for, I guess anybody new that's coming into this, there used to be what was called the blue card, which is now it's a virtual thing. You don't physically get a card anymore. But
I will keep there was I'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands.
Right. I still have my blue card. I'm not getting rid of it, but I just, don't take it with me anymore. But so the blue card perks, they change their incidental things. Like I remember we actually got a discount on our annual passes. Or we back when they were, gold or platinum, gold, silver, we got a platinum annual pass for the cost of a gold pass, which, that was pretty big at the time. But right now they're not doing anything like that. So, the pros of buying direct is you may be able to take advantage of things like that, but there's no guarantee around it. And then, the other thing about buying direct as well is, lately what Disney's been doing is like if you're buying Riviera, you can use your Riviera contract anywhere. Whereas if you bought a resale Riviera contract, you can only use it at Riviera. So, so it really depends on your situation as to what the pros and cons are, I guess, or how important the pros or cons are to what you're doing.
And so I think it breaks down to this, right? For direct, right? The perks that you get that are fairly consistent, right? Discounts on merchandise sometimes and dining, the lounge and Moonlight Magic, right? Like those are the main perks, and the occasional random DVC member event that they do, right? But look at it this way though, too, right? So as Trevor was saying, I just pulled up DVC resales page, and they have their average resale prices, right? So in February, base average resale price, if you wanted to buy Animal Kingdom, if you bought it direct, it would be $210 per point. If you bought resale, it was $122 per point. I mean, it's 42% savings. I mean, Alani's even bigger, $217 to $106. I think the biggest one in here is probably Vero, but don't buy Vero. But Boulder Ridge, 48% savings, $215 versus $112. I mean, you can really save even Saratoga, $205 to $106. You could save so much money by doing resale. And so if go ahead, sorry.
The thing, so, for everyone listening, Tom kind of said, don't buy Vero. So the thing is people get fixated on, on the price per point, which, you can save a bunch of money on the initial purchase, but don't ever forget about the annual dues cost. And this is something you can look up, look at the different resorts, look at how much dues are year over year, because that will be something that you will be paying for as you have this contract. If you end up buying somewhere where, you get the points for really cheap, but the dues end up being, way more expensive than any other place, over time, you're going to, any savings you had will just go away because you're paying it in dues, basically. So, we're talking about, the difference in points for direct versus resale. The consistent thing, though, whether you are buying direct to resale, is that on those contracts, you are paying dues. So it doesn't matter whether it's direct or resale, you're still paying the same dues at the end of the day. So make sure you look into that too, if you are, looking at contracts.
Yeah, and just to go to the next question, because it's related, Kevin says, how does having DVC points better your Disney experience? For me, and I've talked about this many, many times on the show, right? This was a sales tactic by my advisor that was trying to sell this, but she called it vacation insurance, which it is, right? So it guarantees us a vacation, and we're prepaying for it, right? But I think the biggest thing is you get to stay at really nice resorts. It definitely spoils us, how nice the places that we get to stay are. And we're in the long run, we're saving, from what we would pay in cash. And also there's a certain, it's going to sound bad. This is for the monocle crowd, I guess, is you feel kind of like you're part of the club, right? It's the vacation club. You feel, I don't want to say special, because then it makes it sound
VIP,
like
VIP, right?
Yeah,
it
is.
Feels a little VIP. Yeah,
it does. It feels like you're God, it sounds so bad to say that you feel special and everyone else is, lame. We've got all the cool stuff, but it does.
It's like something that other people don't know. Even though you're all at Disney and you're all having the same trip, you're all experiencing the same place. It's like you kind of know. Yeah, something that you know something that other people don't know. Disney Vacation Club. It feels almost like. It's not a secret, but it feels like a secret, or most of these people have no idea that you can come here for way cheaper than you think. Most people just pay rack rates for rooms, but you know differently, right? That's what it is.
It almost feels more personal in a way. You know what I mean? Like when you're staying at like, a DVC specific resort, it's like, I don't know. It's just a different feeling there, right? It's they say welcome home, and obviously the podcast is called Welcome Home, but it is like that. It's like you're home away from home.
Like you were talking about vacation insurance.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's something that people don't think about, or the whole thing about DVC is that, we bought into it years ago, and actually this goes back to, last week we were looking at the cost of rooms at Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing about like it's not just making sure that you take a vacation every year, but it's like people don't realize that if you bought in those points 5 years ago, how quickly the cost of rooms has been changing. It keeps it far more it's far more sustainable to like keep taking vacations back to Disney versus, hoping that you can afford to stay at Disney one year or another, right? Like it's like, I don't think people quite realize how valuable that is. It's a huge pro that isn't really talked, or they don't talk about because they can't, it's hard to like crystal ball this stuff, right? Like, and even talking with your DVC reps, they'll say, it's good to kind of, make sure you're taking those vacations. But the part that they don't mention is, hey, the cost of these resorts is always going up. And if you don't, if you didn't have DVC, I don't know about you, but I would definitely not be going to Disney every year. Like it's very, it's so underrated. Like it's so not understood, or I guess not obvious to people outside of DVC. Like obviously for those of us who are into DVC, we kind of know this and we're like, yeah, of course, why would I not go to Disney every year when I have the opportunity? But when you try to explain to someone outside of it, because they go like, oh, I wouldn't want to go to Disney every year. And it's like,
you don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. One, you don't have to. And two, like, you'll pay the same amount of money for, just a hotel somewhere. I want to go to like, somewhere in Mexico, and it's not even like, and it's not like, going to a hotel in Mexico is bad, but it's like, you will pay for a hotel and it'll be not at Disney World, but somehow you'll tell yourself that it's like, oh yeah, this is fine. Whereas, if you'd spent some money on a timeshare, and sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place here, but, this goes back to, I was actually talking with my financial advisor about this, because when I explained it to him, even he said, like, this is somebody who does like financial planning for people. He was like, oh, this kind of, or the way that they've structured this timeshare is very unique in that, it is just continually getting better and better as time goes on. Like, don't take that for granted. Like even he was like, don't, if I had that, I would definitely be making use of it. Right. Like it's so underrated.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also the piece too. Like the trip I did last year in October, the 8 days, well, I think it was 8 nights we spent. It was 8 nights, 9 days that we spent at Animal Kingdom's Savannah View, right? Would have cost cash in this 2-bedroom, because there's 2-bedroom, it would have cost $18,000, right? I did not pay $18,000, right? I mean, I did when I bought my contracts, right? But this is just one of the many vacations I've taken on the contracts that I've already paid for, are just already paid for. They're already done. And, so really what that did for me for this trip was I had a whole bunch of other money, freed up for going to nice dinners and going to character meals and buying whatever merchandise we wanted, and doing experience. Like, it frees you up for other things almost, and listen, DVC is not for everybody, but it's definitely, there is a lot of benefit to it. So anyway, we should keep going here. We got a lot of stuff.
Okay. So Dan says, with the 50th anniversary wrapping up next week, what do you think the highlights and the lowlights were from the event? I'd love to hear your personal thoughts, memories, and also thoughts on the event overall.
Highlighted Spaceship Earth with the lights on Spaceship Earth. It's my favorite thing they've done in like the past 10 years.
Was that for the 50th that they did?
It was,
that?
Yeah, it was, but it's permanent still. It's so they did it for the 50th, but they made it like a permanent offering. So
right, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Actually, I think that was definitely a highlight. I'll agree with you there. I mean, the castle was nice. And I've already said this before. You know, one of the lowlights was the merchandise was so over the top for the 50th. Like it was. I can
get with you on that one. Yeah.
I feel like it choked out them doing anything else creative or interesting, and you know, it got to a point where, you know, in this last year, I was lucky. I got to go a couple of times. You know, we went for the meetup, and then we went in November, and it really limited. Like usually I will buy souvenirs, like, you know, whether it's shirts or, you know, hey, this was cool, or like just, you know, always looking for stuff. I found that because of how much 50th merchandise there was, and the fact that it didn't matter where you went, like, you know, how usually you would hit up different shops throughout the parks, and you're like, oh, you know, what kind of, you know, there's always like a couple of things, it seems like, in every park and in every shop, where it's like, oh, you'll only see this in this place, or it'll be like, you know, in this one shop and maybe somewhere in Disney Springs, but there was always like different things. And what I found was that we stopped going into shops after a little while, because it was like every shop, it was like, oh, here's just the barrage of 50th stuff. Right. And it got so repetitive that it made me dislike the 50th, I think, more than I should have, maybe. But
that's fair.
But it just, it felt like they just went too hard in on the 50th merchandise, which I get also why they did it, because it stops people from eBaying it, because, you know, that's always a thing where, you know, people, oh, you know, it's a limited time thing, and I'm sure they overdid it to make sure that, you know, there was no excuse as to why you couldn't get this merchandise. But I'll be glad when they go back to offering different things, and, you know, kind of finding a reason to hit up different shops, because this last trip, I found that there was no reason to go anywhere after you'd gone into the Emporium on Main Street, because you kind of saw what was being offered. Gotcha. And that was it. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Spaceship Earth for me is one of my favorite things ever, and I love that they keep changing it. Right, that they keep changing the show up for different events, and it's just awesome. I love what they did there. So I think it's my favorite thing. Another Dan, I don't know which one. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know who the first Dan was that asked this. I forgot to put last initials in there. So with new character meet and greets like Pete and Figment coming up this summer, what meet and greet would you like to see? I think with Disney 100, they should bring in Oswald the Lucky Rabbit to Disney World. I agree. That's a good call. Mm-hmm. My daughter would love to see a giant turning red panda meet. Actually, I think they have that at one of the Asian parks. I want to say Shanghai, that they're doing a turning red one. So, you know, maybe that'll be one of those things that makes it over to the States. I don't know. But, you know, I would love to see Oswald. I think that's a great idea. I really can't think of one. I mean, Figment would be my one, right? Like, Figment's the one I'm excited about. So, yeah, I mean, and that's coming. So, I'm going to go with Figment.
Now, I know Damon briefly mentioned earlier about gummy bears, but that's a returning meet and greet, right? Because there was the gummy bears. Yeah, you could meet the gummy bears in Disneyland for a brief time.
Okay.
I think Darkwing was another one that
Darkwing shows up. I feel like at special events sometimes. Though,
yeah.
Right. Like, yeah.
Yeah. This is Darkwing and Launchpad. So
yeah, Darkwing and Launchpad show up at special events sometimes. So it just kind of depends on the event. Yeah.
Do you know,
I want Baymax back. Can we get Baymax back? Baymax was an awesome meet and greet, man. That was an awesome one.
I liked Baymax. Do you know what would be a weird meet and greet?
What?
Gravity Falls.
I was thinking about that. I mean,
yeah.
Are you saying though they do it with face characters, or they do?
No. It would have it would have to be like the mascot characters, because the way that they're drawn, you wouldn't do face characters.
You can't do face characters, or they're kids. You can't find kids to.
Yeah, but then it would be like those like weird, like big head. Yeah.
You know what though? Grunkle Sand has a pretty big head. I feel like you could do it. Like you could do Grunkle Sand and Seuss pretty easily. I feel like, and it not be weird. Like, I feel like you couldn't do Dipper and Mabel. You'd have to do a Stan and Seuss, right?
Or maybe like Bill. Like
Bill would be a good one actually. Yeah. That's it'd be cool. I'm down. Do it.
Yeah, that I said it would be an odd one, but I would definitely be interested to see it.
Yeah.
So
this next one takes a little bit of explaining, especially if you're not in our group. So Chris says, with such a questionable take on the Jungle Cruise moment, why hasn't Jeremy been temp banned from the group? So I think last week we talked about one of the questions was most overrated feature of a ride. Yeah. And Jeremy posted in the group that the most overrated feature of a ride is the Jungle Cruise Falls.
The backside of water.
The backside of water.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is like, that's the joke, Jeremy. like the whole thing is that they hype it up and it's just water. That's the joke. It's overhyped on purpose.
Yeah. And that's the hard part is, the joke itself is meta.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be corny. It's meant to be overhyped and all that kind of stuff. But then, and I said this to him in the group, is, I can kind of see both sides of it. Is, it's a deliberate overhyping, but maybe some people also take it too seriously as like, this is the best ride ever because they make this joke and whatever. So I can kind of see his point, but at the same time, it's still the Jungle Cruise and don't mess with it. So
he's wrong. He's just wrong.
So there's that.
You're banned, Jeremy. You're banned. We never ban anyone from the group. So, Trevor, do you know what this second word is here?
Can you? I think it's supposed to be you.
No, it's not. So Cody asks, can Yin speak a little bit about your past waitlisting experience? Now, Cody, I'm going to guess you're from the Pittsburgh area. So Trevor, in the Pittsburgh area, there's a term called Yins, and Yins means kind of like, it's a derivation of like you all or y'all.
Okay.
But it's Pittsburghese for you all.
Got it.
It's very specific to Pittsburgh. So there's no way that Cody is from anywhere but Pittsburgh. So I lived in that area. So we have a lot of family in the Pittsburgh area. So I know this very, 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 very closely. Like it's something I'm very aware of. So it's just kind of funny to me that somebody, I very rarely see people actually use it. It feels like more of a mythical thing than an actual thing that people do. But there you go. There it is right there in print. So
I had no idea. I thought it was just a typo, but okay. Good.
That's why I wanted to explain it to you, because it's not I would bet most of our audience doesn't even know. So, so Cody said, my wife, son, and I have a split stay trip planned for mid-September 2023. We have Old Key West booked, waitlisting Poly, then Boulder Ridge, then waitlisting Riviera. This is our first time waitlisting, and I was pleasantly surprised to learn that when I waitlisted, the current reservation wasn't canceled. Well, you can have the option for it to be canceled, Cody, just so you know. It will only cancel if the waitlisted reservation becomes available. Maybe I should have known this, but I'm hoping this may help some other DVC owners and listeners who may not be aware of this. I will tell you, so I've gotten waitlists before, but I've also had better luck just stalking the availability on the website, right? Like just constantly going on. Like I would just, if I'm looking for something in particular, I would go on the website 10 times a day, at least, just log in at different times and just check. Cause the wait list does take a little bit longer, right? It's not like immediate. So like you can catch some things sometimes that fit what you're looking for. If you just go and check, right?
Yeah. And I know, so I guess let's start by talking about, or, we asked this about our past waitlisting experiences. So, kind of like you, so I had a trip, I want to say it was like 2018 or something like that, where, I dropped the ball on booking my room initially. And so we had planned to do, or like we were staying at the Poly, obviously, but we were trying to get a Lakeview room. But, and this was kind of, this was still fairly early in us having DVC. And I didn't think about, or I figured it would be easy to, flip back and forth between a standard and a Lakeview room, not thinking about the fact that, Lakeview rooms are far less than the standard rooms. So it actually can be hard to get them the further you get along. So what I ended up doing was I had the standard room booked for a couple of nights, and then I had like 1 or 2 nights of the Lakeview room, and then it was back to the standard room. Like it was all broken up, right? And it was like if we had left it the way it was, we would have been hopping between different rooms of the resort throughout the trip, which obviously wasn't ideal. So when I called member services and I said, I wanted to waitlist these Lakeview rooms because we wanted to try and get the whole trip as a single Lakeview room. What he's talking about here is, that's where I kind of learned about, you can have your bookings and then you can do a wait list. And the way it works is that it will, as long as you have the points to do it, if your wait list becomes available, it will automatically cancel the current room you have and then book the wait list room. So we ended up doing that, and the way it turned out was, it was like I had 2 different wait lists and they came in at different times. So it was like 1 week I got a notification that, these couple of nights have been filled. And then later on, I got another notification that the last few nights have been filled. So it was interesting to watch because, it was like you kind of think about it, or like what you're talking about is, if you really want to get what you want, your best bet is to just keep looking at the site and wait for something to come up. Because the thing about what I did, if there was a good chance that I could not have gotten those rooms. And the thing about the wait list is, when the rooms come available, DVC, this isn't, or when I say it was an automatic thing, it was automatic in the system in that it let them know that, these things were supposed to happen, but it still required somebody making the change. The thing is that a lot of times things will pop up and it doesn't necessarily fit the entire wait list, but if I was really worried about it, I could have been looking at the site and like grabbing individual room nights as they came up. So like instead of waiting for a 3-day wait list to come available, if there was like 2 days available, I could have gone in and gotten those 2 days and flipped them over. And then my wait list would have just become a single day. So there is, trusting the system is definitely good. Like it's good that you can kind of set things up. And as long as the appropriate days come through, you'll get what you want. But, kind of to what Tom was talking about, if you really want to get what you want, your best bet is to actually look at the site and, keep refreshing it. And maybe, I don't want to call it, I guess it's sniping, maybe. Is that
okay?
Would that be the right term? Is,
maybe,
like snipe the days that you want, or kind of like fill in the days as you go. And then eventually you'll get the full reservation that you want. But, the system itself won't do that. Like you actually have to manually go in and pick the days that you want.
Yeah, like if you do a wait list for an entire week, it's not going to give you a day at a time. It's only going to give it to you if the entire week's available, right? So like I think every trip I've ever taken, I've pieced together like a couple days at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I've gone on the availability and it's like, oh, Tuesday through Thursday is available. Boom, booked. And then, oh, here, Friday's now available too. And then I just book them all separately. And then you could just call member services and they can just combine all those different reservation numbers into one. Yeah. And I've done that so many times. It's the easiest way, I think. I mean, waitlist is great, but maybe I'm not patient enough to wait for a waitlist. I don't know. We're not scheduled really far ahead of time, people, right? Like we almost always schedule like 5-6 months out at the most. So
yeah, I think the thing is, for you, like what you're saying is, you have something very specific that you're after, and it's kind of you have the first booking as, bare minimum will get, this reservation, but what I really want is this other reservation. That's why you're kind of going through and grabbing the days as you can, right? I kind of see it the other way though, where it's like, so like what Cody's saying here is it's like, hey, you have a Boulder Ridge booked and you're waitlisting Riviera. And I guess it kind of depends on how you're perceiving the trip. Is it's like, hey, I'm fine with staying at Boulder Ridge or Riviera and just kind of waiting to see what happens. I think, it's a lot less stress, because then you're also not, spending all of your time hunting the site for these rooms. It's kind of if this comes up, great, but otherwise we'll be staying at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
Like I can see both ways. One is definitely getting exactly what you want, and the other one is more, a little more laid back and kind of just, rolling with it. But, both ways are perfectly viable ways to do waitlisting and booking rooms. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Princess Katie asks, if you aren't sharing your popcorn, you've got your own container of popcorn. How do you eat it? Are you a piece by piece person or a whole handful? Whole handful kind of slob. I'm sorry. I should have
very specifically whole handful kind of slob.
I feel like when I'm eating popcorn, it varies, right? Like sometimes I'll throw a whole handful in my face. Sometimes I'll get bored and throw a piece in the air and catch it on my tongue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just depends.
I think I never go single piece by piece. I'll usually grab a couple at a time, but I won't grab a whole handful and try and shove it all in your mouth.
Yeah, I don't do that either, really. I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, I usually don't do one piece at a time, though.
I'm not patient enough to do one piece at a time. I still want popcorn now. So, yeah, it's usually a small handful at a time.
Have I ever I don't love popcorn.
Really?
So I would like popcorn if it wasn't for the what is it, the hulls, or is it a hull or a husk? I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't. I just hate they get stuck in my teeth, or I don't like anything that really I have to do a lot of work for afterwards, or during, for that matter, during them.
Right.
Everybody I see that eats any sort of a lobster or crab or whatever, and it's it looks like a lot of work for not a lot of reward. But I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, popcorn's something that, we have, or I don't know. I guess Colonel's is kind of everywhere. Or do you guys have Colonel's popcorn?
What is that?
Oh, so so there's a place here. I sorry, I guess I assumed it was in the States as well. So there, you can get different seasoned popcorn. So you can get you can get salt and vinegar, you can get dill pickle, kind of a lot of the same flavors that you get for chips, but you get them on popcorn. So I'll do salt and vinegar popcorn. I won't just do straight popcorn, I guess is the thing.
Apparently they do have it here. I'm just not aware of it. So
okay, yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, we'll do Colonel's popcorn.
Okay.
I don't do plain popcorn.
Let's go ahead and do our ads. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about, and we're way over at this point.
All right. This week is DVC Rental Store. DVC Rental Store is a World of DVC company that offers magical vacations at an incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. As always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. When you talk to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you, or if you're filling out the form on the website, make sure you tick the box for us in the drop-down.
There you go. Yeah. Do the drop-down.
Do the drop-down. Pick us.
Yeah, pick us, no matter what. So we have a couple pieces of DVC news here, and I know you're not really into cruising, so we can blow through this real fast. But there's 2 DVC cruises planned for next year. One of them is in Europe, which cool. It goes out of Spain and goes to Italy and France, and then back to Spain. So that's pretty cool. And then then there's the one that Damon talked about briefly before, which is a island only one. So private island only, where you'd leave out of Fort Lauderdale, go to Lighthouse Point, go to Castaway Cay, go to Lighthouse Point again, and then go back to Fort Lauderdale, which, kind of sounds like fun. I would like that. But again, I also wanted to mention so DVC is doing some interesting incentives for Animal Kingdom points, which is kind of weird. I don't know why.
I think they bought up a bunch of points previously, maybe. And I think they're trying to get rid of them now. Try
to offload them? Yeah.
Yeah.
For a limited time, new developer incentives offer steep reductions to the standard 210-point rate. So the starting price of $196 per point is what they're selling for direct. And that's, if you get down to 200 points, it's $183 per point, which is a full $22 per point cheaper than Grand Floridian and 26 less than Riviera. So, but still not resale, still not as good as resale. So
true. But it, back to what we were talking about earlier, where if you want to get perks for direct, this might be a good window of opportunity to get in, because, you will save on direct, but like you said, it'll never be as cheap as resale. But it's, you can get in at Animal Kingdom cheaper than anywhere else right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah. It's just interesting. It almost feels like a test to me. Like they're like testing out if they can offload some of these contracts at a cheaper rate. I don't know if they're just trying to like compete with resale. I don't know. It's interesting though.
I have to wonder if, because if they're holding on to these contracts, that means people aren't using them, right?
Aren't buying them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it may make sense that they may have figured that there was going to be more demand for them. And now that there hasn't been, obviously with the way the last couple of years went, I have to wonder if they're just trying to get them out on the market, meaning people actually using them, because even if they're selling them for less than other places, it's far more valuable for them to have the contracts sold, people paying dues on them, also, making use of them. So, coming to the resort, spending money, all that kind of stuff. I feel like there's a much larger equation at play here than just the price per point.
Yeah. I would agree. So the next thing here is one I put on specifically for you, Trevor, mm-hmm. and I guess Damon too, but Damon's got it already. It's been revealed, and actually you mentioned this actually last show or 2 shows ago about how the new merchandise for Tron is kind of tying in a little bit into the game that's coming out, and now we know when the game is coming out, which is, what is it, April 11th?
Yes,
on Switch.
I thought it was Switch and PC.
Switch and PC, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's the Tron Identity game. So, I mean, is this a game that you're going to get? I mean, are you interested in this?
Yeah, for sure. It's, the thing about it is it's kind of it's a visual storytelling game. So it's very dialogue heavy, and it's almost like a choose your own adventure book, I guess, for those that had those growing up. Yeah, and the thing is, like, for me, I'll play it because I like the world of Tron and like the story and the lore and everything. So this is just going to I don't expect it's going to be a super long game, but it's just further expanding the Tron universe, right? And then obviously they're finding their ways to integrate it with the stuff they're selling in the park. So
it's kind of amazing to me that they're really like coordinating these two things together so well, right? That they're coordinating the game and the ride almost at the same time. Which, I mean, Disney's amazing at synergy and at utilizing the different lines of business to promote each other. And so it's just kind of cool that they do this kind of stuff,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes with their whole the overall philosophy. Like we've talked about this before, where Walt Disney had this vision of the parks influence the movies, influence TV, like everything all has an effect on everything else, right? And now, obviously, with games coming into the mix, I'm glad that Disney, they're not ignoring gaming as a medium anymore. Like they tried years ago, but
didn't go good.
yeah. The some of the studios they had, like even the LucasArts studios, like LucasArts did some good stuff. but some of the Disney stuff was not great. Like that, yeah. So yeah, hopefully Disney gets this right enough. Like I'm not expecting it to be like, game of the year or anything, but it should definitely scratch that itch for anyone that's a Tron fan.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I don't have much else to say about that one. So if you want, we want to go to the memory maker thing here. So, yeah. Like Damon kind of went through a lot of this, but, so there's some new videos that they've added. I actually like the videos. I know you can't really do a lot with them afterwards, but I will say, there's been a handful of times that we've been talking with, a friend or a family member that went to Disney with us, where we had gone on like Seven Dwarfs and something funny happened and we pulled up the video and had a good laugh. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
like I think that they're still useful. And in a lot of ways I do really like them. And I do think it's cool that they're doing more of them,
Yeah, I think same as you is, whenever I come back from a trip, you'll have like those videos. And the thing I always like doing is, people that haven't been to Disney, they'll ask, oh, how was your trip? And you start, describing something that's like, oh, here, let me show you a video of the ride or what we did. And then when you show them that, they're showing pictures is one thing, but when you show them a video, and especially, because Disney does a good job of like, kind of, making the videos a little bit extra, like there's always effects and whatnot.
There's effects, music, and like, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, even when it's just, showing a coworker on your phone, they go, oh, like it's a difference between like, oh yeah, here's a picture. Oh, that's cool. Versus, oh, wow, that was, that's really cool how they did that. So.
Yeah, and so the new things that they announced is, so there's some new PhotoPass video memories that they posted on here. There's one of those tiny world shots, which I've never done one of those. I don't know why. It's just I've never been able to find where they are. I feel like because they've had them before. They had them at Epcot and at I feel like at Hollywood Studios they did one, but I feel like I've never been able to actually see one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same problem as the zoom in, zoom out shots, right? Like you have to kind of know which PhotoPass photographer has it.
Yeah, like you need to know where it is. Like, and I've just never somehow stumbled upon it. Like, I don't know. How have I never stumbled upon it?
Although looking at it, like, looking at the picture now, they're showing the it's like a weird little orb thing for the tiny world. So you have to be looking around for that thing, I guess, if you want to get one of these photos.
Look for the orb with the phone attached to it.
Yeah.
So they also mentioned here too an indoor photo studio at Epcot. So over at the Norway Pavilion, so you can have like you can do like studio photo kind of things. There's the Disney Springs one. They also mentioned here too return to dining locations. So that's cool. Photographers at Chef Mickey's, Cinderella's Royal Table, and Storybook Dining at Artist Point. So that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things that was still kind of that was missing, Yeah,
the Storybook Dining one, we actually had a really good interaction with that, because it's you get the photo, but you also get like a little bit of a character meet out of it as well. And that one in particular, the Evil Queen is just hilarious. Like it's just such a fun character. So yeah.
You see sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I hope they do more of that. Like they start figuring more of that out for other dining locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this Tron video is crazy. If this is like what it really looks like, this is amazing.
Hold on, let me yeah.
Usually those videos are all grainy, and like this looks really good, and the picture looks really good too.
Amazing what they can do when they actually pay for decent cameras for taking these photos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously though, like that looks incredible.
I think the thing is too, is it's a lot easier to control on Tron because where the photo op is happening is entirely indoors.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because they have everybody like frozen in one position,
Yeah.
So, like it's almost like they stitched together a bunch of just like the single photos that they take of it. But like even the single photo looks really clear considering you're, accelerating to 60 miles per hour very quickly.
Yeah. I think people just look like they're stuck because I think that's during the launch, which is pretty fast. So
I don't know.
I don't think you're getting a lot of reaction out of people at that point.
I'm just saying it looks really cool. I think that's a really good photo. They're talking about too that they have props for near Tron light cycle run too.
Yeah.
What is that a prop?
The identity disc.
Yeah, the disc. Yeah. So you can use that, and then just some more magic. Oh, the one magic shot with the identity disc too, like above your head, glowing. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
it's number.
The rest of them are all. Or actually, I guess there is the photos at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique as well, which is cool.
and fairy tale photos and Enchanted Tales with Belle. I mean, I'm glad that location's reopening, and I think it's a great place for pictures. So
these are all reasons to get, or I guess, so these are all PhotoPass things. Would this be? Would that be part of Genie Plus then?
It would be, I think, right? Or is it only? Are they only including the ride photos, or are they? I forget. What was the one where they were only doing the ride photos?
I thought that was only if you did like a lightning lane, you got that ride photo.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be wrong about this.
I know. I'm like forgetting now.
Well, because they keep changing it. This is the problem, right? They've made so many changes to it that it's very hard to keep track of what's what, right?
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. Now I got to look this up though to find out because I'm forgetting completely. So, but as we do that, let's talk about this article. The concept art. So a former Imagineer put out some concept art from the announced Mary Poppins ride that was going to be at Epcot that got postponed because of the pandemic. So yeah, it's a teacup ride. Yeah, like I want to believe this is real, right? Like, and I kind of do believe it's real, but like, why just teacups? Like the rumor was that it was going to be like a flat ride, right? Like it was just going to be a flat ride.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. But I don't know.
Well, okay. So, in typical Disney fashion, reusing things is definitely not off the table. And I could see this, somebody, an Imagineer, looking at the amount of space that's available in that pavilion and, what kind of rides you could do. Obviously you can't, I would rather them do teacups than another Dumbo type ride would be the first thing.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Because the thing is, when they look at it, there's limited types of rides they can do. And the thing is that it would make sense to do the teacups because then you have the same ride in two different places. That means that, when it comes to doing parts, maintenance, all that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier, right? Because they can use the same parts between these different rides, or, they can make sure that they have, enough to support the both of them. And then it also, as far as it being teacups, it's something, I guess, predictable, but is easy enough to theme to what they wanted, which in this case, Mary Poppins. I can see that working out as like the jolly holiday sequence, right? It's just, something that they could very easily fit to the motif of Mary Poppins, but also not, spend a bunch of time developing something new, right?
Yeah, I just like. First of all, let me go back really quickly. By the way, it's only attraction photos that you get with Genie Plus. So,
okay. So nothing. All right. Yeah.
Like, I get what they're doing here, right? It's like a stepped up kind of teacup, right? Where it's like super themed. There's like trees, and it's very Mary Poppins-y, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so much cool stuff you could do with a Mary Poppins ride. Like, I get they probably just don't have a lot of space right there to do like something crazy, Mm-hmm. But give me like a flying ride or something. Like, give me like I don't even know what I would do with it. I just, teacups are kind of surprised me a little bit.
I will say this is I feel like, looking at the concept art for this, it wasn't, so there's the teacups, which is the main ride, but then there are the rooms. So it looks like it's,
like pre-show rooms.
Yeah. It looks like it's the house.
Yeah. The house
kind of leading up to it. I feel like this could be, the sum of the experience could have been something like, even though you're just riding teacups, it's like, maybe seeing, the stuff in the rooms. And I would assume that there would be, some interactive things or stuff going on in the pre-show rooms that would make it, an overall better experience than just teacups. Right.
Yeah. And that's kind of what this article says, right? So it said that it would feature a pre-show similar to Enchanted Tales with Belle at Magic Kingdom. In that pre-show, guests would watch the fireplace come to life before coming into the English countryside from the Jolly Holiday sequence. The ride is so like, are they trying to say, so like, have you ever done Enchanted Tales with Belle, Trevor?
No, I've seen videos of it.
So video, right?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, right? So spoiler alert, if you've never done this before, cover your ears right now. You start off in a room where there's the only exit is, or entrance is the one you came in through, right? And there's a big mirror in front of you. And some magical stuff happens, then the mirror turns into a door. And it's incredibly cool. It's one of the coolest effects I've ever seen them do. And every time I watch it, and I'm like, I know that whatever they're doing here is probably not that complicated, but they do it so well you can't really even see it happening, right?
Yeah.
So if you have that kind of thing happening where you don't get to the ride, there's the fireplace turns into a door. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll give you that. Like, yeah, I would appreciate that for what it is. I guess I would have that, experience and then be like, oh, there's teacups after that. You know what I mean? Like, and I love teacups. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, man. I don't have that much of a problem with this. Like, if they were to do it, it'd be fine. But like, and I do think they need more rides at Epcot for younger kids, which they've been doing a lot more of, right? It just feels very unoriginal. That's all. But I said, the door thing is
just because the platform of choice was the teacups for the actual ride is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. I love the idea of, the magical fireplace. Like, that's incredibly cool. Yeah, like that's really cool. I just wish there was something different on the inside. Now, like, I don't know what.
No, actually I know what they could have done. And actually what would have been better than the teacups is, so in California Adventure, there's Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters, which is it's a trackless ride where you get in the vehicles and they all basically dance around one another. So it kind of lends itself to the same kind of thing as the teacups. Like, it's not a super intense ride, but it's a lot of spinning, everything going around one another. But using a trackless ride in an arena for something like this, like, I could imagine, the teacups, like, they start off how you would think the teacups start off, but then they all kind of break off, and
that would be cool.
It gets chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if it seemed like it was regular teacups to start off, and then all of a sudden they started doing things that teacups don't usually do, then 100% I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's way cooler.
Yeah, that would be the only thing I could see that could improve on it, is just using a trackless ride system to make a chaotic version of the teacups. Which, I mean, the teacups are chaotic to begin with. It's
I do have to say, the attraction poster that they had, because I remember we talked about this after D23 when they announced it, right, in 2019, and they had all these really cool attraction posters, and this one is a really cool attraction poster. They had some really cool ones for some of the stuff that they announced that ended up not happening. But I have to say, like, I would, this is a cool attraction poster.
It looks like the Mary Poppins sequel. Almost,
yeah, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, kind of. And I do have to say, this one photo is, of the actual teacups themselves. It looks pretty cool. I mean, there's the background pieces look really cool and stuff like that. I don't know. It just feels.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like it's something that, the sum of, the effects and, pre-show and everything could make it, it would definitely be a better experience than the teacups.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Teacups.
Yeah. Pick something other than the teacups.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So,
yeah.
Well, whether this is dead completely or is one of those things they just have on pause, who knows? They could start doing some of these things again. I mean, this article points out that they have said before that it was on hold and not canceled. So, like last year, they said that it was just on hold and not completely canceled. So, it might still happen.
We still need a Mary Poppins something, whatever that is. Yeah,
that's fair. All right, Trevor.
Food. So Easter food.
Let's wrap it up with Easter stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So go ahead. Let's do this here. So all this Easter stuff. Let's see. When is it available? April 1st through the 30th for some of it. Okay. So, and some of it is just the first week of April. So
I hope you like carrot cake.
You know what though? That looks like a pretty good carrot cake. If it actually, I will say that most of the time when we see these things on the Parks blog and then you see it actually in person, it's not like when you see the commercial for McDonald's and you're like, oh, that looks all right, and then you get to McDonald's and it looks nothing like that. I feel like their pictures are usually a pretty good representation of what it actually looks like in the parks. Usually, And so, I mean, this carrot cake looks good to me. This nice little, it's almost like a carrot cake, like whoopie pie kind of thing,
This is the Thumper carrot cake, which is going to be at all of the All-Stars resorts.
Yeah.
So should be pretty easy to find.
Yeah. And then over at the Mara, a place I've been many times at Animal Kingdom Lodge, a carrot cake cheesecake tart. Carrot cake, pineapple, and vanilla cheesecake. That just sounds awful to me in every way, shape, or form. It does look cool, though. I will say that.
So is it the cheesecake, the pineapple, or
all of it? Just all of it.
Oh, okay.
Which, by the way, we went and got. I know this is off topic for a second, but not really. We went and got, went to one of those places. I don't know if you have Sweet Frog up in Canada, but it's it's like one of those places where you serve yourself frozen yogurt and then you go and put the toppings on.
We've got places like that.
Yeah. Well, so we went yesterday, and Sweet Frog has all of the Dole Whips. They had the regular Dole Whip, they had the orange, they had a strawberry one, they had all the Dole Whips.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, which I didn't get any of them, but I thought about doing an orange cream one, an orange swirl, because they had it. They had the orange and the vanilla together, so you could do a swirl. But then, I feel like if you get an orange swirl, you're not going to put toppings on it. It doesn't lend itself to the toppings bar. You know what I mean?
I'd be fine with skipping the toppings bar for that. But okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I got that, then I'm not going to get toppings. But I wanted to get toppings. So I got cookies and cream instead, and got some toppings. So anyway. I just had to bring that up because I was like, oh, Dole Whip, how exciting. And not just one flavor, like 4 flavors.
So, that all stemmed from pineapple that you don't like on
it
cheese. Okay,
it did because listen, pineapple don't listen. Okay, it actually had in my brain a connection. Okay,
I see where it was going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. Okay. So moving down the list here. So there's a coconut sugar bunny cupcake, which looks okay. Looks
the bunny butt that we got going on here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. At Beach Club, Carrot Garden Fudge, which
I need that. That's straight fudge.
So here's the thing: is that it's just fudge with a cookie on top of it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm fine with that, man. Give me fudge anytime. I'll take fudge.
Yeah, it's very boring.
It is
my thing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and then they have another one of these.
Another one of the shakes with the donuts on it.
yeah. There's just too much. I don't know.
It's an Easter chocolate Donald's egg and Easter chocolate daisy egg, chocolate Easter egg. Oh wait, no, that's a different one. Okay, this is the orange vanilla bunny. Wait, where is it? Carrot cake milkshake. There it is. Okay. Vanilla milkshake, toasted marshmallow, pineapple. Oh God, what's with all the pineapple? Shortcake topped with a specialty carrot cake.
I mean, I see pineapple in carrot cake a lot, and I think that's probably what they're going for.
I want this orange vanilla bunny tart, even though I don't see it pictured here. Orange vanilla mousse with chocolate filled vanilla tart and orange marmalade. That sounds delicious. Why isn't that not pictured? I want to see that. I don't think it's pictured, but I don't need to see a donut on top of a shake.
This is all going on interesting that a lot of this is going on at Beach Club, which kind of seems like I always thought of Beach Club as like kind of out of the way and hard to get to, but it seems like they're doing a lot of Easter stuff there.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So much coconut, man. What is with all the coconut?
Yeah, Boardwalk has that coconut macaroon nest. Looks pretty. Like
it does look pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the one that got me though was the Italian Easter sweetbread.
Yeah.
Citrus scented dough, almond cream, and filled chocolate egg. Like that just looks really good. I would
definitely eat that. That looks good to me. Yeah. I would eat that. Ooh, these Caribbean beach ones actually look really good too.
Yeah.
The spring treat box with a carrot cake with cream cheese icing, mini brownie, lemon shortbread cookies, and a chocolate dipped strawberry. I mean, the chocolate dipped strawberry looks like a carrot. It's kind of cool how they did that. Yeah. I mean, it's simple, but it looks good.
It's very, very creative. Now, can we shout out
on this list? Sorry.
Okay, Contemporary Resort.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the standard stuff, but then there is a 5-legged goat cookie. This is so random.
They did this recently, though. They did it for another holiday, too, when they had the 5-legged goat.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it. It was like Christmas, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny that it's a citrus-scented sugar cookie with an image of the 5-legged goat from the mural in the Contemporary.
It's just funny that they would 5-legged goat, right? Like people know about that, right?
I mean, if you ride the monorail through the Contemporary, look at the mural, and there's a 5-legged goat on there.
You just got to find the 5-legged goat. It's like a scavenger hunt.
Yep,
you got to do. Yeah, that's hilarious. I do think it's funny that they've kind of embraced that, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, and they've got like homemade peanut butter eggs too. Okay, I like a good peanut butter egg.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, or maybe it's just my house, but I don't do standard chocolate. Everything has to be like peanut butter chocolate.
Oh, really?
Easter.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really think about how weird that is. But yeah, I just don't like plain chocolate. I'll always go for peanut butter.
That's I do like plain chocolate. Actually, I don't know if I've talked about this before in the show, but my very, very favorite candy of all time is only sold during Easter, and that is the Cadbury mini eggs. Those are my favorite candy ever, and I will try to go after Easter to the store and buy them all up for very cheaply because I just love those things. I could eat an entire bag of those in a sitting. I love those things.
Do any of your grocery stores offer them in the bulk bin?
I mean, guess usually after Easter's over, you can go and get them very cheaply.
Well, no, I'm talking like you can buy them in bulk.
Oh, I thought you meant like the discount bin. No,
bulk bin is like you pay by weight and you just like you buy them.
I don't think so. Okay. I've only ever seen them in the bags. So,
well, you should come up here because we can get Cadbury cream eggs in bulk.
Can you just smuggle some across the border for me?
No, I'm not doing that.
Right, fair enough.
I'm not getting arrested over Cadbury cream eggs for you.
That'd be a funny newspaper article, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You got arrested for smuggling Cadbury cream eggs. Anyway, let's continue on here. I think we should do some scrolling and stop.
Yeah, Coronado Springs doesn't look very interesting to me. The Grand Floridian.
What is going on with that one?
The jelly bean egg?
No, the one next to it.
The carrot cake.
It looks so weird, though.
Cream cheese carrot coffee cake is what it is.
I love a coffee cake. I love coffee cake.
But it's a carrot cake in a coffee cake. Yeah.
And it's topped with fondant and orange sugar, and it just looks so weird. I
think it's the sugar looks like it almost looks like rock salt.
I thought it looked like fish food or something. Like
the stuff on the bottom of
it looks like something you would put on. Yeah, it looks like something you put on the bottom of an aquarium. Like it's weird. Oh, okay. Let's keep scrolling here. There's a golden egg with raspberry mousse, milk chocolate mousse, and pistachio something.
That's at Riviera.
That's at Riviera. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, there's some cool stuff at Riviera. This looks very fancy. What is this chocolate bunny? Look on this chocolate bunny's face. It looks evil. It looks like the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that if it had like some detail to it, it would make more sense. It just looks like angry.
It does. It looks mad, right? What is that about? Oh man, that chocolate bunny is going to haunt my dreams. Oh, look at this Donald and Daisy eggs are cool. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was looking at those, but right next to it, the orange vanilla bunny tart.
The bunny butt
is it just looks hilarious. Like it does. It's like a Like
it looks like a rabbit like tried to dive into the grass and just got stuck. Yeah. I like it. It's cool.
Yep.
Let's see. Do you see anything else good on here? There's like some savory food, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, and not seeing much else. Like if you like carrot cake, that's the theme.
Yeah, if you want carrot cake, now's the time for your carrot cake. Because there's about 100 different kinds of carrot cake coming to the parks in the next couple weeks. So if you're into carrot cake, good for you. Congratulations. So they also have some merch coming out too for Easter, which is interesting. They had to go with the dad joke of excellent merchandise. Is that
a dad joke? I thought that was just
generally a lame thing to say. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I see on here that's kind of cool are the two stuffed animals from Toy Story 4 in pin form.
Oh, yeah. I
don't remember their names. I don't remember their names at all. You guys know who I'm talking about, though. The two bears. Oh gosh, I don't remember.
It's a bear and a duck. They were the carnival.
Oh,
it's not a bear. It's a rabbit and a duck.
It's Ducky and Bunny. That's their name. Ducky and Bunny. Yeah.
Why do you think it was a bear? I was thinking of Lotso.
He kind of looks like a bear. To be fair, he looks like a bear. Yeah, I mean, except for the ears. The ears kind of throw it off, but yeah.
Ducky and Bunny. Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah. Some of this stuff doesn't feel very Eastery. It just kind of feels like at least some Lego stuff. Okay.
Yeah. What are these? Sorry, they're just. I'm trying to figure out how a random pair of glasses
has anything to do with these. I was wondering the same thing, Trevor. I'm like, wait, why is this here? That doesn't make any. And but there's also like a bunch of Grogu stuff. Wait, there's a Grogu Tamagotchi? What? We're doing Tamagotchi.
Where did you see that?
All the way down.
Oh wow! There's a whole bunch of Duffy stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Duffy stuff. There's a lot of Duffy. There's a lot of Duffy going on. But I probably over in the Asian parks though, because they don't do Duffy really here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, a Grogu Tamagotchi. That's an amazing idea. Like,
oh yeah,
that's so great. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing I needed, but it's it's amazing. I didn't know that they were making Tamagotchis again. I didn't know that became a thing again.
I don't think they ever stopped making them. I think they just weren't very popular.
Just came back around again? Is that what you're saying? Like it's popular again? Because I think it is popular again, right? It's a thing again.
Yeah, so actually it's funny. Now, like I'm kind of scrolling through this list and back to what we were talking about earlier, that there was too much 50th stuff.
Yeah.
This is like, this seems to be like how they're fixing this, because the range of stuff like it's kind of all over the place. There's Duffy stuff. There is
Avatar stuff in there.
Yeah, Avatar Funko Pops. There's Lego in there.
That Avatar Lego beast there is not a great Lego figure in my mind.
Yeah. But this gives me hope though, that this is this is giving me hope that they're starting to branch out again beyond the 50th merchandise, and we'll actually see, in the following months, more and more interesting things. Like actually, these. Hold on, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here.
I have too, though. I mean, I'm just scrolling through because there's a lot of crazy stuff on here.
Like I'm trying to figure out, are these llamas at the where is this?
They don't really say where any of the stuff is.
At Hong Kong Disneyland, they're for some reason, as part of spring, they're selling there's Mickey, Minnie, Chip
Yeah.
and Dale, and a llama friend. So it's just like a random llama.
Just a random llama? Like, does the llama show up anywhere else? Like,
no. So, okay. That's cool. I mean, I must be missing something, but
I mean, maybe llamas are big over there. I don't know. Maybe llamas are a big thing. I have no idea.
Once again, Shanghai gets
all the cool stuff.
Weird. Yeah, they get weird and different stuff, and I wish that they would bring some of this stuff stateside.
I'm telling you right now, I'm buying this Tamagotchi for. I think it'd be a funny gift for my sister, honestly. So I think I'm gonna get this. Hopefully, she doesn't listen to this.
You say that, but I mean it's like buying somebody a pet. Like,
well, I mean,
here's something that you have to take care of
with no consequence. Right? She loves Grogu, though. She loves Grogu.
Well,
so,
well, you say that, but I mean, you watched Turning Red.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
There was a whole thing with a Tamagotchi in there, and taking care of them. Like, yeah.
It's fair. I mean, listen. I just think it would be funny if she doesn't have to actually use it. It's only like $28. It's like, I just remember when I was a kid, my mom waited back when you used to have to like wait in line for stuff. Like, it was the hot toy at the time. And my mom told me that she like waited in line for like hours to get one. I forget what year it was, probably like the early 90s, I'm going to say. Right.
I feel like if I gave my kid something like that, he would look at me and go, cool, where's my phone? Like,
yeah. Probably.
Like I guess maybe for our listeners, are Tamagotchis like, are these something that people? Around, like okay, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
I've heard that they're popular again, so I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. All right, well let's wrap this thing up. I don't think we have time for the one additional topic I had on here.
We can skip that one. Yeah,
we talked plenty. That's why. It's an optional topic, so let's wrap.
All right. Okay, where are we? Here's the end of the. Okay, got it. I need to figure out where we are in the rundown.
You haven't done this 200 times?
No, I mean yes, but it's still nice to have the cues. I'll admit.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, do you have the ads memorized? Because I know I don't.
Almost. I probably could do at least the resale market one, I think, in my sleep. Yeah.
Right.
I wake up sometimes from nightmares repeating it,
I don't commit them that far to memory, I guess is the thing. So I don't remember them beyond when we do the ads.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So, as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your questions, people sharing their own trip reports, all that kind of stuff, just great hearing from our listeners. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, YouTube also as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, make sure you have a look for Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. It's our Facebook group where we get a lot of our listener questions from, and we just get a lot of great conversations going on with the group. Lots of great experts in there. So, if you want to be part of a group where people are legitimately excited to talk about Disney and to just share information, please come join us, because we could always use more people in the group. And if you want to help support the store, or support the podcast, go to the store, store.welcomehomepodcast.com. Check out our different merchandise there. There's t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. All of it goes to helping just continue to produce the show. Alternately, if you like Patreon, go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different tiers of support on Patreon. And for anybody who does support us through Patreon, that also gets you access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we like to chat with our listeners and share information, all that kind of great stuff. Last but not least, if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find the podcast. And especially on iTunes, if you want to leave us a review, we love hearing feedback from people. And, sometimes we do read the reviews on the show, whether they're sometimes there's some funny reviews or whatnot. Do we have any new ones this week, Tom?
We do not. No new reviews this week.
All right. Well, that's cool. But if you want to share your thoughts about the show, that's a great place to do so. And I think that's everything. Did I cover everything this week?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
You did. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah. Usually I'm so good, I just pick up right after you finish, but I spaced out for a moment. Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. And obviously look for the one that's Disney. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company. As such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative or a Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you, as always, to our sponsors, DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode, and of course, World of DVC for being a constant supporter of this show. Please check them out for all of your DVC needs. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair.